Hey guys, it's Courtney back from Wonder in English. Today I wanted to do a requested video to talk about conditionals in English. I know that this can be particularly difficult for people even when they reach an advanced level. I'm going to give you guys an explanation today and use some examples, and hopefully it will make it a little bit easier for you guys to use on your own. So there are 4 different types of conditionals. There's a 0 conditional, the 1 and 2 and 3. The first type of conditional is called the 0 conditional, and it's the simplest type. You use this in situations in which you want to talk about facts. So there's no argument about whether or not this is real. It's all facts. You create this by having if, present tense, and present tense. For example, I could say, if you heat water, it boils. No one could argue with you on that. That is a fact. When you heat water, it boils. This is the most simplest and easiest way to use conditional. The first conditional is a little bit different. You use the first conditional when you want to say that something is likely going to happen or very probable. It doesn't mean it's a fact, but it's very likely to happen. You use this by using the if, present tense, and then will together. You can use this in situations when you want to give a threat or if you want to persuade somebody. For example, I could say, if he calls me again, I will not answer. So I don't know for a fact that he's going to call me again. But if he does, in that situation, I will not answer. So it's making a prediction about my future behavior based on a scenario that is likely to happen, that I think will happen, but I'm not certain it will. The second conditional is going to be used for things that are very unlikely to happen. You're going to use it with if, past tense, and would. So for example, I could say, if I won, past tense, $1 million, I would buy a mansion. So it's probably not likely that I'm going to win that $1 million. But if I did, this is what I would do in that situation. So you can use this to talk about wishes, or you can use it for advice. What would I do in this situation? Something important to keep in mind about this structure is that would doesn't always have to go at the end. For example, I just said, if I won $1 million, I would buy a house. Well, I could actually flip that. I could say, I would buy a house if I won $1 million. So you're just reversing the parts of the sentence. The would phrase actually goes first. So that can be a little bit confusing when you're speaking because it's a little bit harder to detect when people are using conditionals because they can use it in various parts of the sentence. The third type of conditional is the most interesting and probably the most complex, but let me make it really simple for you. It is talking about an unreal past situation. So you're going to use this oftentimes with regrets when you're talking about something that you didn't do or that didn't happen, but you wish you did. You're going to use this with the setup if, had, past participle, would have, past participle. And again, you can also switch those around. So let me use those with an example. If I had known that my dad had cancer, I would have flown back home to visit him. So this is a regret. This is something I wish I had known in the past, but I never ever found out. I never knew, so it was an unreal past event, an unreal past situation. If I had known back then, I would have flown to see him. You can also use this the other way around. I would have flown to see my dad if I had known he had cancer. So those are how you use the conditionals and the situations in which you would use them. Now I'm just going to have a little bit of free-flowing conversation with you guys using some conditionals, answering questions that I gave my students when I would teach them this. The first question is, what would you have decided to study if you could go back and change your coursework? So I would have decided to study psychology. I think that would have been a really fun degree to pursue because I'm really interested in people's minds and how they perceive life. I'm extremely interested in relationship psychology, so maybe I would have been a family therapist or a couples therapist. So that was the third conditional. You should have heard me use would have and had various times throughout that little segment. Now let's hear something with the second conditional, something that is very unlikely to happen, but not about a past regret or unreal situation. You could say, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? If you could, past tense, have any superpower, what would it be? If I could have any superpower, I think that I would heal people, because that would be really amazing to be able to help save people's lives. If I could have any superpower in the world, that is the one that I would choose. You could also use this in the first conditional, talking about really possible scenarios. For example, let's imagine that I just applied for a job and I think that I might get it, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do if I do. So a friend could ask me, if you get the job, will you go? And I would say, I'm really not sure. If I get the job, I think I will go, but I still haven't decided yet. So in this situation, I'm using will and the present tense to talk about something that I'm not sure is going to happen or not, but I'm very, very inclined to think that it will. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about the conditionals at all, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time I make a new lesson just for you. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.